Hello again. I'm Reverend Bob Shore-Goss, pastor of the MCC UCC Church in North Hollywood. The title of this segment is called Greening Your Campus. Now, I realize, having talked to a number of pastors who have sold their churches and have generated a sizable income and are moving into rental space, that certainly the situation of greening your campus is a little different. And so the thing I want to discuss today is, if you're in a church building that you own, or if you are renting a space, maybe you could partner with that congregation and together work on green issues. Now, I want to start off with a quote from Bill McKibben, who's the founder of 350.org, a wonderful green organization. You should check it out. And he says, very few people on earth get to say, I'm doing right now the most important thing I could possibly be doing. If you join this fight, that's what you'll get to say. And so I want to say that what we're doing in this course is beginning to do the most important thing for life on this planet and for care of the earth. The first principle I want to talk about is that this course certainly involves greening and changing the complexity of your environment. But it really has to start even in a more basic way. And so the principle I want to suggest to you is, the greener your lives and faith become, the greener your church will become. And I can testify about that, about MCC, UCC in the Valley, in its evolution in the last 5 years, that it has become greener as our faith has become greener. Greening, I would suggest, is a process of conversion to the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit traditionally has been perceived as the giver of life and the sustainer of life, that the Holy Spirit is very active in the world. So when we convert to care for the earth, we are also participating in the life of the Spirit and doing something to show care for God's creation. Because God's creation, as it says in the opening chapter of Genesis, 6 times, God says, it's good, it's good, it's good, 6 times. And then takes delight on the 7th day in creation. Creation is not evil. The earth is not evil. It is a wonderful gift to us. So I want to suggest to you that the process of greening does not happen immediately. It starts with ourselves and includes others in our community, and then the whole congregation. And certainly it takes time, because it is a process of looking and investigating your congregation, your lives, your commitment to care for the earth, and that begins to transform you. Now, we have achieved moving towards a carbon neutral campus, but it didn't happen overnight. I also want to dispel something that I talked to a number of individuals from churches who have gone with solar panels, and I do not want to disparage that progress. But as I listen to folks from those churches, going solar doesn't solve the solution completely. It is part of the solution. I think that we have to look at the whole life of the church and how we use energy, how we use things, how we recycle, what is our relationship to water. And so these are the things I want to suggest to you that we do. The first is to sit down with a group of folks, accumulate the bills for energy and water in your congregation, and gas. You want to know your utility bills and what you're spending. One of the things that many utility companies offer is they will come in and do a free audit, energy audit for yourselves. So avail yourself of that. Get that information where you can save. It may be that if you change out all the light bulbs you can, possibly with CFLs and LEDs, that you'll take a significant step in reducing your energy usage. One of the things you can also do is take the survey on the UCC site called Becoming a Green Justice Congregation. I think it's a really very useful diagnostic. When I took it, we were 3 or 4 years into, 3 years into the process of going green, and we scored fairly high, 75. We've scored even higher in the last 2 years. But it gives you something you can go back at and say, this is where we were, and this is where we go. The other possibility is to look at the diagnostic tool as a congregational audit and energy water audit with interfaith power and light. It's called Cool Congregations. It's, again, covers some things that the UCC, Becoming a Green Justice Church, doesn't cover. They really complement one another. So I would suggest invite your utility to come in to do an audit, do individually these audits, fill them out, and then begin to compare them with one another. That'll give you some data in terms of where you are now and where you need to move in the future. Now, let me start off with gas. Most of us have gas water heaters and tanks. The energy that is spent in that is energy that could be, and monies that could be appropriated someplace else. What we did several years ago was to replace keeping that water tank heated 24 hours a day with a tankless water heater. Our gas bills go down. The hot water we have and use is almost instantaneous, and it reduces our energy bills. Very simple thing. The investment will pay back within a couple of years. The second sort of thing that I think it's really important to look at is you don't realize how much water we use in day-to-day in terms of washing coffee cups or using water for coffee or washing our hands or flushing toilets and urinals. Check with your utility company and various groups to see if there's a rebate for toilets. We found that there was a rebate for if we installed high efficiency, low flush toilets. What we found from that is that we save approximately 500 to 600 gallons of water a year with each of those. We replaced just recently the urinals with Echo Blue. Generally, somewhere from a quart of water to half a gallon of water is used with the flush of urinals. What this is a computerized urinal system that will flush 2 or 3 times a day to drive the urine there, and it has, through chemicals, mutes the smell. We look forward to the savings on that. Being in Southern California, water is certainly a commodity and a precious thing, and so saving water is important. We comply with the city and state in terms of watering ordinances and recommendation during this drought. But we also have added to our system where the rain goes into the gutters and the gutters go down and the water gets put into a system that goes right into the ocean and it's not used. What we have done is put rain barrels at key points there, and 50-gallon barrels that we can use to supplement our watering. We stumbled on something, or maybe the Holy Spirit helped us on this, but we had put a system where a lot of the condensation from our air conditioner went in, and that air conditioning condensation of water goes into a water barrel and fills it nearly every 2 weeks. So we have some additional sort of surprising water supplement to help us.